The Ecommerce Hustle Podcast is brought to you by the trusted online business brokers, e-commerce brokers. You can visit us at ecommerce-brokers.com. Today, our guest is Simon Gorges, calling in from Zurich, Switzerland, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Simon, how are you, man?
Well, it's a special time, but I've been good, I guess. So I've got a lot of time right now to again focus on my business and trying out some new things. Actually, I'm also getting into e-commerce right now because I want to try something new, and I haven't ever sold physical products myself online, and it seems like an interesting field. So
yeah, that's interesting because I mean you mastered the, I think not let's I'm gonna say mastered the digital kind of e-commerce kind of space with we'll dig a bit into that. But what I'd like to kind of start on is, where did you start with entrepreneurship in general, e-commerce in general?
Well, I was studying aviation because I've been on the road to become a pilot, and right now I am an airline pilot. But I always had those gaps between my studies, and I also when I went to university, I had a lot of time for myself. So I wanted to kind of try something and do something on the side. So I went online and just typed in YouTube how to make money online, basically. Then I found some people, and they were teaching some different methods, and I just tried some of them, and some of them worked, some of them didn't really work. And then I found a method where a guy was talking about growing Instagram accounts, and then basically selling promotions on those accounts. So I tried that because that seemed like it could work. So I got this software where you could automate everything on Instagram. And then I started to grow like 3 accounts. I started out with 3, and then I upped it to 5, and then I did more. And then I made my first like $10 selling a shout out on Fiverr.com, where I listed my accounts. And that's kind of where this whole door opened up from online marketing, where I realized, okay, this could actually work. And then it just went on from there. So I continued to grow those accounts. I sold more promotions on those accounts, where I think at some point I was like selling about $3,000 to $4,000 of just promotions from my biggest accounts. And then I kind of slided into different business models with Instagram. So people ask me to buy my accounts. So I wasn't sure if it's worth it to sell them. So then I decided to help them to grow their own accounts with using the strategy that I'm using. So then I decided, okay, what do I need to charge? So I just came up with a price of $100 per month for those people to put their accounts into my software. Well, it's not my software. I also bought the software, the license. And then it kind of grew like a client business, where by my clients telling their friends what I'm doing, I got more and more clients. And then I ended up with like 20, 30, 35 clients. And I had a new business, which was like the Instagram growth business, which was a client business. And then I also realized that it's a lot of work with the clients, because you have to always be in contact. They have different expectations. And then you kind of always have to manage their expectations, kind of calm them down when something happens that they didn't expect. And you have to do a lot of communication, which is a lot of work. And I figured out that if I just grew my accounts and put them on autopilot, and then I just sold them, then it would be a lot more passive, because I only have one time. Only have to communicate once, and that's when I do the selling. And that's a new business that I started then, and that was like the most lucrative one for me, because I could scale it quite easily, because what I could do is just create more accounts. And then once I got some buyers, and then the same thing happened again, people by word of mouth, people found me, and then they wanted to buy more accounts. Yeah, so that's the way I started. And now I doing different things. So I kind of closed down the whole Instagram thing for different reasons. And now I went into YouTube and affiliate marketing. And now I'm also going into e-commerce. So that's where I stand right now.
I mean, just on how you started, right? So I mean, because that's always the hardest part for anyone who's like, anyone listening to this where it's like, and just to kind of, one memory I was thinking of just last night before, thinking, we're going to hop on and chat about this is like, I remember probably the day we met when I came to Zurich in 2018. And I remember we went out for a drink, I have no idea where, somewhere in Zurich. And we're just kind of like awkward, like chatting.
Langstrasse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the street where everybody goes out. Langstrasse.
And it was funny because I know on my phone I used to get like PayPal notifications every time I made $10 on my e-commerce sales. $10, $20, $40, $60 if it was a big sale. And I remember you just picked up your phone very subtly. And I was just like, $2,000 sale, for $3,000 sale, $500. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck do you do? But man, like to get from zero to there, that's the question. So, firstly, where did you hear about it, and how? I mean, the discovery process. What was the discovery process for you? Did you read a bunch of books? Did you subscribe to a bunch of YouTube channels? How did you even find, someone who would have that software?
Okay, so like I already told you, the first idea came with watching a YouTube video from a guy on YouTube. His name is Franklin Hatchett. He does like how to make money online videos, and he also does affiliate marketing and stuff like that. So he just did a quick video where he made this, he grew accounts, and what he's using those for is just for free traffic, because when you have your accounts, you can post whatever you want. And Instagram was in a stage where it's kind of similarly than TikTok, where it's like a newer thing and it's a lot easier to get reach. And that's how he used it. And then I kind of went a whole different route with that, but it was still like the center of the business was this software that you could automate all those things on. And then the most, I think I never really read somewhere or that's a new strategy, that's the new business model that you can do. I just saw that there was like a demand in the market. So I saw that people wanted to grow their accounts and they didn't know how to. So they were looking for people that could help them with that. And I mean, so many people, I don't know if it's still like that today, but they just wanted to have more Instagram followers for the sake of having more followers because of social proof or whatever. So I had a lot of those, and also people that just wanted to have like social proof for their business. And the same thing with selling accounts. I just realized that people wanted to buy accounts, and the real issue with that business was that there was a lot of scamming going on online. So people were being scammed because they transferred over the money and then they didn't get the account, or the account got taken back somehow. So that's like the thing that you have to overcome. So I had to really build the trust first, and once people trusted me, and then it was really easy to get sales, because then I was like known as the guy that can be trusted.
I mean, that's the crazy thing, because in I think, and I think you told me about some of the marketplaces where you've sold them in the past. I mean, it's weirdly, it's very similar to what I do, with e-commerce brokers selling businesses, because these are kind of small businesses. They're smaller, they're their Instagram accounts, they make money through shout outs, through promotions and so on. So they're small businesses, or at the very least, they're small businesses. And because there is so much scamming on, these marketplaces, even if you do 2-3 transactions, like a normal person with a bit of trust, people think you're amazing, and you'll get like these small like badges or small like trust indicators on whatever site, and then you get so much more business. It's a crazy thing to see, because I came into the if we look at the age of the online business selling world, I mean that started 20 years ago. Only kind of got some real players probably in the last 5 to 10 years, and I only really went full professional, full time on it in the past year and a half. And the fact that I've come in and done so many deals, I think is a testament to the fact that I just did things in a trustworthy way. And that's the same thing you did, where, okay, if I just do things in a trustworthy way, I'm going to get a ton more business than most people, because the norm is to not do things in a trustworthy way.
Yeah, I think people go into the whole online space with the wrong expectation. And I think that's also a big hurdle that people have when they want to get into the whole making money online, starting an online business thing, because maybe deep down internally, they think they don't really believe that it works because everybody around them doesn't do it. So the same thing for me, like I was the only one, I didn't know anyone in my circle that was making money online. So for me, it was just like a side project that I just kind of tried out. And then like, again, when I made my first $10 from selling something on Fiverr, that's really when I couldn't go back, because then I proved to myself that it actually works. And people that go into the online space with the expectation that the only thing to make money is if you scam other people, then you have to basically be okay with that, and then you want to do the same thing. And that's I think still a big problem with the whole making money or with the whole online business space. But I think to have a long-term business, you have to be trustworthy, and you have to keep up your reputation. Because otherwise it's like a turn and burn business. You build something, it's like a hype, and then it dies down because you become famous as being the scammer. So
and
I think that's
I
just a bad long-term plan.
Yeah, I talked about this with my friend Jared in the first podcast. The e-commerce world is not that big. Like, and the more time goes by, the more I realize that, because and I'll give this quick example. So I was literally a year, probably 14 months ago, I was working with these e-commerce guys that had a bunch of businesses that were very good at what they do. And they're like, man, we just had this really bad experience with this American guy. He came in, we basically bankrolled him to learn all about what we do and so on. And he stole our ideas, tried to steal all our stores, and then left. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. What's his name? Because I always ask, what's their name? Just in case, I might come into contact with them again. And I shit you not, 2 days ago, this guy came in through my website saying, hey, I'm interested in buying this business. Can you send me more information? I'm like, am I going to send further information to this guy? Even though he signed an NDA, people have no problem with, backing out of NDAs sometimes, people with, loose ethics and morals. And it's like, no way. Like, and this guy's, I just didn't respond. I'm not going to say, this and that, but it's such a small world that this random guy in America, because of what these guys in Australia told me about this random guy in America, now I'm not going to do business with him. And the business he was interested in is a very solid business. It's actually an Italian luxury brand. And there's no chance I'm going to do business with him. And if anyone ever asks about him, I'd have to say the same thing. And in that way, it is a very small world. But to go back to what we were saying, how long did it take for you to go from, let's say, that first $10 you made to the peak of, cash flow, let's say, monthly?
Yeah. So I wasn't very consistent with the business at all. So because I was studying on the side, I was having like also pilot training on the side. So that was my main focus in my life, and it's still right now. So I probably took a rather slow path because I shut it down and then I started up again and shut it down. So I think it took me like maybe a year or 1.5 years to be like at a consistent $3,000-4,000 per month, which people would consider to be able to live from. But if I would have like went all in with it, it could have been maybe half a year, I think, to be able to live off it. But still, it was like very unstable. And eventually, that's also a reason why I stopped the whole Instagram business, because it was bound to die, or it's bound to die eventually. And it's just keeps getting harder and harder. And that's because I wish I went into something that's more sustainable, where the initial promise isn't to make money quick, but it's something that is very stable. That's why I went into affiliate marketing right now, and also YouTube, and why I'm also looking into e-commerce and just paid advertising right now.
And it's a funny thing to see, like, at the same, when I came to Europe and we met in 2018, that's when I had like maybe 10 to 12 clients through Facebook, building Facebook groups. And it was a lot more. We didn't have a software. I just hired 5-10 people to constantly add people from certain other groups, and we had all this bunch of other content strategies and so on. But as soon as the algorithm, like I had 10 to 12 clients, and I was probably up to, like you mentioned, 3 to 4 grand. That's USD, I assume, which is livable in Switzerland or Zurich, and it's just amazing anywhere else. But like you would be, very well off if you made 3 to 4 grand in, and you lived in Eastern Europe. If you lived in, in Greece, even, where I've lived there. So like that's really good money, I think. And also I was making, like, I think I was, my height of 2018, I was making like 3,000 AUD, so let's call it 2,000, maybe 2,200 USD. And that was all through this building Facebook groups for people and building their brand, and we had this strategy and all this stuff. And I remember the week I got to Australia, Facebook changed one little thing. I think it was around being able to add people you don't know to Facebook groups, something like that. And then they deleted all the people that were added to Facebook groups, but they didn't accept an invitation. Some small, very small thing like that. Yeah. It meant in 1 week I lost all my clients, and that whole thing changed.
Yeah, and so dependent of those
huge. I mean, when you platforms. Build, that's a big thing, and like when you build your business on someone else's platform, on someone else's business, that's always gonna be a factor. And I think, and for Instagram, I feel like it was a slower death. Let's call it, like small algorithm changes, small changes in the rules that made it harder and harder.
It was like a cat and mouse game. So. Well, it's still not that, because people are still making money from it. I'm still, like, once in a while I go into forums, I check what the people are doing, and the strategies, they just evolve. But because we were using an automation tool, which was something that is against Instagram's terms of service. We were like against the big player Instagram, but we live off Instagram, we make money from them, but they don't benefit from us. Well, maybe you could say they do, because we create pages that are keeping people on the platform so they can sell more ads. So maybe they benefit a little bit from us, but they are against just the whole platform being automated. So they continue to give us blocks and did algorithm changes that made our day-to-day life very difficult. And that's also something that makes it less passive. And that's what eventually kind of got me out of it, because I needed something that is just as passive as possible, because I think the business that you want to build has to kind of fit in with your lifestyle. And for me, my main thing is still my regular job, and I can't afford to just be on my computer all day tweaking the settings and trying out different things and testing all the time. So I wanted to do something that is not as dependable, and that I'm not like fighting against a giant that is Facebook.
A war that you can't win in the long term.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still like every time Instagram changes something or there's like a new problem, there's also a new opportunity, because it pushes out all the people that aren't willing to adapt to that. And then the market opens up again and you can get more market share. So you can also see it from that point of view. Yeah. So again, I think it's never going to be 100% passive, whatever business you have, but there are different, because with affiliate marketing compared to that, if you just refer clients to a business and then they just pay you recurring commissions, then as long as that business keeps up the affiliate program and keeps their clients happy, then you get money. But with Instagram, with that business, you have to adapt all the time, and it's kind of a struggle.
Yeah. I saw that, like, because like I said, I was the exact same with Facebook. I mean, Facebook owns Instagram, so same enemy. Yeah. But as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, like, and for me, that's what that kind of period when we met, I felt like it was just a hustle period. I would have a nice business model that made cash for a solid 6 to 9 months, and then it would die. And then I'd have to start again. Yeah. And there was there was a reputation building in marketing or growth hacking in general, but I just felt it always went to shit, and it was always just a ticking time bomb until it all went to shit. And the biggest thing I found
it's
with
just having another job with less security.
Yeah, exactly. And that's an interesting thing, because for me, like, I'm okay with the risk of, a skill of mine, is going to go, is going to be out of date at some point. I got to pick up another one, and I can build a business off that, which is very risky. I mean, financially. But what I think is also, like, people see down there, it's like, I don't have that risk profile. I'm not willing to take those risks, which is understandable, of course. But I also think when I kind of talk to people about entrepreneurship, they think like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do entrepreneurship because I'm not that crazy. I can't take those sort of risks. But at the same time, you yourself have a pretty structured life. I mean, you live in one of the greatest countries in the world. That's very, it's a service-based economy, probably more than any economy. You have a high-tier job as a pilot for Swiss Air, and you're a top performer if you looked at it from a career, a normal career perspective. But at the same time, you're a top performer on the online business perspective, and that would kind of not make sense to a lot of people. Like, how can you do both, right? How do you think you manage time and creativity and effort to do both, and both successfully, mind you?
So at the time that when I started, I actually did have a lot of free time. So again, I had a lot of gaps between my trainings, and that's why I really dove into the whole online marketing thing, as opposed to other people that just went to go ahead and get a job and just work for a bit of money. But for me, once I saw the opportunity of the whole online business space, then for me, it didn't make sense to go into just having another job, because if I wouldn't like to do my job, then I would have quit already and just went all into online marketing. Because for me, there's a risk there. There's a risk that you can work on something for like 2 years and then it just dies down. But there's also the higher reward. So I think if you're like not a stupid person, basically, and you can learn from your mistakes, and you try to become successful within online business, which is still a lot of opportunity there, and you try it for like 30 years, it's, in my opinion, very hard not to become successful. And by successful, I mean you become at least a millionaire or a multiple millionaire, if you're not stupid and blow all your money on stupid shit, right? So compared to having a regular job, you still work like 30, 40 years, but then eventually there's also risk that you have a stable income, but then you don't have the possibility to actually build a certain amount of wealth to become independent of.
And even the stability that people see in their jobs, in regular jobs, has been shaken really in the past 6 months with Corona. That kind of stability was always like, it's like, okay, having a job is of course going to be the safest option. And I saw I was in Barcelona when the pandemic hit, and I'm seeing all my friends in Australia, which is kind of like Switzerland, considered one of the best economies in the world, stable society, blah, blah, blah. And most of my friends who went down the normal road, family members and people I know, they're in crisis mode, at least, emotionally, mentally. And I'm like, it's crazy to think that they always thought that this was the safe way. This was, no matter what happens, they're going to be fine. Meanwhile, I'm just kind of in normal mode. For me, what's the change for me wasn't that crazy. Like, I'm working from home as per usual. I'm making money online as per usual. I'm being productive and disciplined at home because I've always been doing that. And that was the challenge for everyone else. So even with that's how I kind of see, whenever I have a bit of doubt or uncertainty about, I guess, what I'm doing, business or career-wise, I always think, what's the alternative to get a full-time job, let's say in marketing and sales or something. And I don't necessarily see that as the safe option. Anyway, I don't see that as like, this is the safe option in comparison to entrepreneurship. But I mean, you've done both. Hedged your bets pretty well.
And to go back to your question where you asked me how I was able to do it, I mean, it's not that, I mean, you have to basically sacrifice something. So you have to sacrifice your free time. I could have also went to South France and or to to West France and just surf all day long with a little spending. But yeah, so that sounds also nice. But for me, I have to feel like I have to get ahead in life, and for me right now, it's like gathering more skills, building a business. So yeah, it's you just have to you have to set your priorities. Like, I mean, it's very hard if you have like a 9-to-5 job and you come home and you're tired, and on the weekend you want to do something else, you want to do something fun. And I didn't have that situation, so I can't claim to, okay, I sacrificed it all. And I really had like 3 months off. So, and then I really went into it. So it's not like I just had the discipline to do like really go hard and not have any free time. I still think doing something with friends, going out and having a social life is very important. And I still had that. So I think it all comes down to really doing like the 80-20 principle, like really, okay, what actually brings in the revenue, what actually makes money. And it's mostly, it's from 20% of what you're actually doing. And I see that across everything. I mean, now again, I'm taking this course about drop shipping and paid advertising. And he also says like 80% of your revenue comes from 20 or like from one product. And I see that on my YouTube, like 80% of the revenue comes from 20% of the videos. Yeah. And then you just have to see what that is, and then focus your energy on that. I mean, that's a basic principle. And I think then you have to avoid trying to be busy compared to being productive. I see it on many like online education platforms or online marketing platforms where people are getting started, and then they are just on that platform all the time, motivating each other, like sending motivational quotes and stuff like that. And then, okay, that's cool. If that helps you actually getting to work, then it's fine. But you can't spend all day just watching people in business, watching like lectures and stuff like that. You have to actually take action and try something, and then the content you should consume is the one that brings you to the next step. So if you have a problem, then watch content or read something that will solve that's problem. I think what people get into a lot of the time is to just, because it gives you a dopamine spike when you see like a motivational video, and then you think, okay, I'm going to change my life, and then once you start to actually work on it, the dopamine level goes down again, and then you can't actually focus for like even an hour. So you have to watch the next motivational thing. So yeah, I think you have to be realistic with yourself and analyze what you're actually being productive in, and where you're just keeping yourself busy to have a good feeling that, okay, I'm working on my business.
And to be honest, I really fell into that trap a lot with motivational videos. I was always the guy that, had the motivational, wallpaper and stuff. And it's good at the start, but then you're like, okay, can I, like you said, like, can I concentrate for a full hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, like a normal job? Like 3 hours or 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the afternoon. And I definitely couldn't. But then what I kind of realized, because I always just want to aim for that, the sale, do that call to get the sale, the success moments. And I didn't really ever think about the process moments. So for example, right now my job mainly consists of doing outreach, and that might be podcasts, talking, posts on Facebook, posts on my website, posts anywhere, random emails. Like 90% of my job really is just emails and phone calls. And that's not glamorous work. That's just sitting at a table and responding to stuff every day for 2 to 3 hours. But at the same time, I've almost forced myself to slowly enjoy that, or make it a little bit more enjoyable than, it really is. Like I can sit down, I can have, get into flow, and some I put on some music, have a coffee, and make it comfortable. But you're right. I think, and what I really found with entrepreneurship in general is you really don't get rewarded for busy work. And it's going to show.
It's only the results.
Yeah, like you don't still get paid by the hour. You don't get paid by the hour. So it's not like you're going to get, you did 5 hours of bullshit work. You're not going to get paid for it. And it's not.
That's a big appeal, I think, about starting a business.
Yeah.
But people like that have a regular job, they get paid, or a lot of jobs they get paid for just being in the office for 8.5 hours. And they don't get paid more if they are twice as productive.
Yeah.
And you can take that mindset and go and start a business.
Yeah, exactly.
But then the beauty is, if you are so productive that you can work 1 day a week and you make, I don't know, $5,000 a month, then nobody, there's no boss that says, okay, come in the office and work, because you have everything you need and you're taking care of your customers, then everything's fine.
Exactly. And that it's a really weird thing, because sometimes it's easy to measure. Some businesses, it's easy to measure your productivity. Some, like for my business, right, e-commerce brokers, it's hard to measure how productive I'm being in a certain period of time, because I can work 6, 7, 8 hours a week, a day, in some periods of time, and then work 10, 15 hours a day and really go crazy with it. But I don't see the results probably until 3 to 4 months later, just because how long deals take to put together.
Yeah.
But it's just a feeling of like, am I really working to my potential? Which was actually a big move coming to where I am now in Copenhagen. Well, when I was in Greece, I feel like I'm not working to my potential. I'm in too much of a relaxed environment. I want to come to Copenhagen where I can focus. And it is kind of a feeling. I know when I'm doing busy work, like if I'm just scrolling, like a lot of the time, I'm just looking at businesses that I might want to sell or might want to get my buyers to buy. So I'm just looking, just scrolling and just sitting there. I'm like, no, not this business, and just kind of bullshitting around for hours on it. Prospecting basically. But I'm like, is this really, the best way to do this? Could I do this in a more effective way once a week instead of, an hour every day, 7 days a week? But I think, there's no give to the entrepreneurial productivity. You're going to see the results. If you've been bullshitting and you've been doing busy work, like it's very easy to do in a job, you're not going to get anywhere with it, and you're gonna feel it when the money doesn't come in.
Yeah, you say that you realize when you're doing busy work, but I think a skill that you're building as well is like realizing where is the opportunity, like what lead is worth to spend time on. And then once you have that skill, and then you have the balls to say, okay, no, I'm not gonna go after that because it's just not worth my time. Then you probably become a lot more successful, and maybe your results also increase exponentially. Because that's what I also realized with when I like flipped Instagram accounts, which is maybe similar to flipping, I don't know, e-commerce websites, that the skill is not really kind of getting the leads or anything, because once you have a system down where you can get leads, then it's not really the skill anymore. The skill is to actually be able to value those sites, and then to be able to see, like to have the skill to analyze the market, and then to see, okay, that is underpriced, that is overpriced, and then take advantage of those price gaps, basically. Yeah,
definitely. No, and I think that's one of the biggest thing I've had to learn over the past 2 years. So like, what is the real price, even month to month? Like the March or let's say February, some businesses were worth way more or way less than they were a month later into the pandemic. Some businesses completely fell apart, and they went from, I had a business that I recently sold for 70 grand that was worth 400 grand in March, but it immediately died, and it completely changed with the market changing, the pandemic changing.
Yeah.
And I also had a business that I had listed for, I think, just $250,000, $250,000, and it just went crazy. It quadrupled its sales within 2 months. And he's like, I want about 500K for this. I'm like, damn, that's a big jump. But you know what? If it continues on this path, maybe you might be able to stretch that. I said, look, and the value of it did definitely go up. And that's the thing, month to month, these, the valuations change. And I think that's the biggest skill I've kind of actually, really focused on developing. But yeah, man, I think in saying that, with the pandemic hitting, I don't think we've chatted for a few months at least, but with the pandemic hitting, because you had your job, which is in aviation, a pilot, which was definitely
it's been crushed the industry.
Yeah, what happened there? Like, have you had work from Swiss Air and stuff?
Well, yeah, the last time I flew was in March, and that's where everything kind of was starting. We already had a couple of cases in Switzerland, and then the flights gradually kind of were canceled. And then I was like, okay, maybe I work tomorrow. Okay, maybe I work the next day. But then I haven't worked until now because obviously people are not traveling as much anymore, and there are less flights. So they have too many pilots, and not every pilot is getting to fly. And those that are flying, they fly maybe once a week, depending on. I mean, there are like cargo airplanes. Airlines they fly a lot more, so they do like more hours than usual because the capacity of the cargo space went down, so the price went up, so they do more hours to bring in some revenue. But so for me, I'm very lucky actually, because I actually got into the company last year, and now we benefit from something called short work. Translated, it's Kurzarbeit in German, which means that the state basically pays for the people that are not working in your company. So you get help from the government. And that's a very good tool for us to actually keep the employees within the company. And at the same time, they're not that expensive. And that's what we are on right now. And now it's just like waiting until everything picks up again. And obviously the industry will shrink down. And let's see. I don't know. It's a tough times, but I mean, still, I get paid from my company, and I'm not working, so it's like luxurious
opportunity too. Yeah, I mean,
it's luxury to live in a country where that's possible. Other aviation companies like Emirates and other big ones, they just cut the salary in half, or they fire a lot of people. So that, or in the US, I mean, it's a lot easier to get fired than in a country in Europe, and especially Switzerland. So yeah, I'm lucky that way. And at the same time, I see it as an opportunity for me now to actually get back into the online business space and actually grow my business more. And I mean, with my affiliate marketing now, I think tripled my income within like 3 months now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see it financially. It's been like good for me, but still, it's sad for the industry, and I'd rather like go fly.
Yeah. I mean, with that being said, because I had a very mixed experience with the pandemic from the start and the middle and the end. Because we're in Europe. I mean, you're in Switzerland. I assume is like, besides work, I assume it's back to normal. Like, there's no lockdown. Everyone's walking about and stuff.
Where we had a lockdown, just as most of the other countries, and then they opened up really quickly again, and then they realized, okay, the numbers are increasing also. So now we need to wear masks in trains and stuff.
Yeah.
But we also, compared to a lot of other countries, we have our nightclubs open. It's just limited to like 300 people. Okay. So I think it's less strict than other countries, but it's the same. I mean, it's not that a wealthy country is less affected by the virus. I mean, it's just that a rich country can afford to do a lockdown compared to, I think, India. They just opened up again because, I mean, they were at the highest numbers, but they just couldn't afford to keep the shutdown going. Yeah. So yeah.
I think it's very interesting. Like, for example, I mean, I've kind of been keeping an eye on South America. Sorry, I think
said it again. Sorry.
I've been keeping an eye on South America, and South America, like,
oh yeah,
Chile, Peru, Brazil, Argentina, really crazy numbers. But I think but also it's hard to make comparisons between, let's say, rich and poor countries, because like, you look at Greece. Like, Greece is a weird example of it, and you compare Greece to even Switzerland, or even Spain, or Italy, or the UK, or France, and you're like, why did Greece do so well? Like, Greece is like, not is top on the. It's not the best country in Europe, financially, economically, infrastructure-wise, but somehow that we maintain very low numbers. But yeah, I think, with Denmark, being in Denmark now, I haven't seen a mask. I think for the whole month that I've been here, no one wears masks.
Oh, yeah?
Cares. It's a complete apathy about the whole situation because they maybe follow the rules, from the get-go, which is good. But in other countries, like I was talking to a friend in Argentina, and she's like, I'm in lockdown still for 5 months I've been locked down for 5 months, and Argentina's
crazy.
It can't take that sort of damage.
No.
But yeah, I also kind of saw, because I was locked in. I was in Barcelona for 3 months, which is not the best.
Oh yeah.
Spain wasn't the best country to be at that time because it was like number 1, number 2, number 3 the whole time, and it was like 700 people dying a day. I was like, holy crap! Like this is the worst place to be, and I'm here. And I'm stuck here. And
yeah, I saw your Instagram stories walking your dog. So just that you could go out.
Man, I walked that dog like crazy, like 3 hours a day just to get out of the house. Yeah, I at the start I definitely hated it, but then I kind of saw it as an opportunity to double down on discipline and like on a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I think with the lockdown and being like locked at home for like if you want to start a business, it's like perfect because there are no parties that you could go to. Your friends are also at home. So you could either like start to play like a video game and just get addicted, or you could actually build something and make some money.
I literally started playing videos. I'm bored. Like for me, I usually work from home, but I'll spend 2-3 hours walking around the city. I'll go to a cafe and work just so I'm not at home for like literally the whole day.
Yeah.
Even going to the gym. But I think I found it a good way to double down on what I was already doing. And to be honest, I think it couldn't have timed better for me because I closed a really, really big deal, like a $500,000 deal in early March. And then I was like, oh, sweet, let me celebrate a bit. I've had a rough few months business-wise. Let me celebrate a bit and maybe ease off a bit. And pandemic hit, literally, 5 days later, I was like, all right, no celebrating for me, man. Get back to it. And to be honest, I look at that now because the deals I'm closing now that are around the 400, 500, 600K mark, the average that I did then is I'm seeing now. Like those deals are closing now, which goes to show like you can't do like I wasn't doing busy work. I was really doing actual work, and only now am I seeing the profits of that. But yeah, how did you? I mean, with this time, how did you? So you said you were dipping. You're looking a bit into e-commerce. You're looking into you doubled your affiliate profits as well. Like with the pandemic, what did you do more of, and what have you done with e-com so far?
So e-commerce, I've started like 3 days ago. So I've pretty much right now I'm doing product research, which is what you should do before you launch a store, obviously. And I'm having fun so far. I think I have a really good course that teaches a very promising method. Excuse me?
Which course are you looking at? From
Charlie Brand. He also has a YouTube channel. He's like at 25,000 subscribers, so it isn't the biggest channel. But every video that I watch from him, he talks like about the actual stuff that you have to do. Like he's not about like promising a certain lifestyle, because I'm interested in the craft itself of doing dropshipping and not of what's a dropshipper's lifestyle to actually sell his course and everything. So and like his strategy is to actually find products that are like spammy dropshipping products, and then testing them out using Google Ads, because Google Ads is basically search traffic. So if there's a demand, and then if you see some sales, and then you will scale that with Facebook ads. So you can season a pixel using those Google Ads, and then scale it with social. So that's would be Facebook ads. And that seems very promising to me. And I think that's a good process. So that's what I'm trying right now. But it's like my third day, so I don't have any results.
We'll check
but with my
a month or two, we'll see some numbers.
Yeah, maybe I'll do a video. I did some little clips with my iPhone because I kind of want to document the journey,
sure.
because I think that could also be like an entertaining video, because right now I'm doing a lot of like tutorial videos on my YouTube channel, which is especially good for affiliate marketing, because that was what I was focusing on I think at the end of last year and in the beginning of this year. Because the way I got into affiliate marketing is basically I started to do videos for my clients because they kept asking me the same questions. How can I keep growing my Instagram account? So I made those videos, created a YouTube channel. People found that channel. My channel grew. And then I switched from Instagram into other content, more affiliate marketing, software tutorials, email marketing, stuff like that. So so the way I increased my revenue is basically to just do more videos. I realized what videos work. And I did more of those. Like I said, the 80-20 principle, I realized where my revenue came from. And then I just did more of those videos. So what I basically do is I do review videos, I do tutorial videos, and like best of videos, where there's like a buyer's intent. So when somebody goes and searches a best email marketing software, and then my video comes up, then that person that watched that video is very likely to be just a bit, that wants to buy an email marketing software. And then when I lay out what possibilities they have, and then in the description I have those affiliate links, then they are likely to click on those links. And for every software, I also made a tutorial. So people that type in, let's say, ConvertKit tutorial, and then they find my video, those people are already convinced that ConvertKit is the way to go for them. And then when I say, okay, the first step is to go to the description, click on the link, and then we can sign up for a free account. And then they do those instructions, and then I eventually get the sale if at some point they decide to go for a paid plan. So that's what I basically do on YouTube.
I found it crazy that like you haven't got the largest YouTube channel. You've got like something like 10,000 subscribers or something, right?
I think it's like 23,000 now. So I grew a little bit.
That's good. Definitely growing. But like,
yeah,
and you're making good money from it. Even though it's a small channel, just because you've set up the videos right. First, I remember, the first e-commerce video I did, and we chatted about this last year, was I based it off your videos because they're simple, it's methodical, it's step by step, and it's easy to follow. So yeah, it's interesting to see even from small YouTube channels you can make a decent bundle of cash.
Yeah. It's really not about the size of the channel. Like recently, I talked with my friend about making money on YouTube, and he recently watched a video where there was somebody having like 500,000 subscribers, and they only made like $2,000 over ads and merch and all the stuff they're selling. And I was like, oh my God, it's like, and it's not that good. And because it's really, it doesn't depend on the size of the channel. It really depends on what niche you're in, on what kind of tip videos you do, and on the amount of views you get. So you can make money with just YouTube ads, and then you better be in a niche where people pay a lot for ads. So if you're in the online marketing space, people pay more for ads. And I think the big reason is because people sell all those courses. They sell dropshipping courses, social media marketing courses, and they sell those courses for like $1,000, $2,000. So they have a lot more budget to actually acquire a new customer. And that's why they constantly bid each other higher for the ad placements. Yeah. That's why when you do content in that sphere, you get a lot more ad revenue. And if you do and the same thing, if I do a review video, then like everybody that watches that video is a potential buyer of that product that I'm reviewing. So it's not like I do a random video and then I do a sponsorship about some product that the people that clicked on the video are not interested in. So you have to do also like, it's because my channel is not about doing viral videos. I just analyze what's already on YouTube, and then I find some keywords that I could rank for, and then I do the best video that I can. I try to give the people exactly what they're looking for. And Google is very good in pushing the content that is exactly what people are looking for. That's the specialty of Google. They are the best at that. So even though if you have a small channel with 0 subscribers, if you do the best video on this software tutorial or how to do this and this, then it takes a long time it does take time for Google to realize that your video is actually good and will put it in the front of the search results. But eventually you will get there, and that's when everything will start. And when you have a decent channel that has some trust with Google, then it gets faster. But it's eventually about creating the content that people actually are looking for. And if there's like a gap in the market, if there are already like 10 videos that are extremely good about the topic that you want to do a video about, then you're probably not going to break through with a small channel.
Yeah. I think, where do you see like YouTube as a platform and your position on YouTube and your channel over the next 5 to 10 years? Do you see it as something that will grow up very slowly, and is something that might be, will it be just a factor, or like a 20 to 30% of your income? Will it be the majority? Will you have a big personal brand?
It really depends on what I do with it. Right now, I'm pretty happy with how it's going, because I have very stable traffic. I have like 2,500 views per day, and pretty stable over like months already. And before I have like uploaded new videos, like I think 1.5 weeks ago, I started uploading again two new videos. But then I didn't do anything for 2 months, and my income like almost doubled within that time. And I literally I was in the military for a month, and then I was on holiday, and I didn't do anything. That's the way I kind of like it. And that's my approach right now, because I go for search traffic. I go for the people that type in something, they want to have the solution now, and then they get it watching my video. I don't have a channel where I do a video every week to entertain people. And that would be another route for me to go. And that way I could grow quicker. But then I know psychologically, I always feel the pressure to put out a new video. And for me, being in business, the biggest reason why I'm in business is obviously because I mean, the thing I want to get out of it is freedom, basically. So in my opinion, you get freedom if you have money, because when you have money, then nobody can tell you to go do that job, go do that. You can just live a simple life, and then your income basically pays for it. So, but then if I feel the pressure to keep putting out new videos, then I don't have that freedom anymore. That's in my opinion the bad side of being like famous, of having maybe a personal brand, that you have to be consistently there. I mean, if you want to do that, then that's cool. Maybe I want to do that in the future, but right now I'm pretty happy with just being under the radar and having some content that is helpful for people and that generates some revenue. And I don't know, I mean, I want to learn some new skills right now. I'm getting into paid advertising, and then maybe that's something I can scale quicker. And then it also opens new possibilities. I have new softwares that I learn. I can do more tutorials about those softwares. Those also have affiliate programs, so I can increase my affiliate income as well. And I think the personal brand, it just kind of comes with it. If you are known as a guy who just puts out valuable videos, then that's also good for a personal brand. And if at some point you want to do some other videos, I think it's going to be easier.
For sure. You mentioned you went on holiday. Is that when you went to Monaco?
Oh, yeah. You saw it on Instagram?
It's a dream of mine. Did you go there for a day, or did you stay in Monaco or Nice?
We only went a day. So we took my friend, he has like an Audi RS5, which is pretty fast car. So we drove down to Nice. And then we stayed there at an Airbnb, and then we just made a trip to Cannes and one to Monaco. And it was a very short trip. Just we didn't know how it would be because of the whole Corona situation, but it was a spontaneous thing. And then I did some holiday in Switzerland where I just went hiking, in the mountains, which can be also pretty cool because. It's the best time because there aren't a lot of tourists. I mean, there are many Swiss people now because they don't travel abroad, but it's a good time to just explore your own country at that time, Corona time.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, pleasure having you on. I'll put your YouTube channel in all the descriptions and stuff so that people can check it out.
Cool.
yeah, I think it was a good podcast. Kind of got through everything, and I'm sure probably in a few months we'll have you back on to talk about your how you started making good money through e-commerce. Your process.
Yeah, hopefully. I saw you going like the Joe Rogan road with the taking pieces of the podcast, and then you have the picture in the middle. I was like, okay, see what you're doing there.
I think I watched Joe Rogan and like The Fight and the Kid and Joey Diaz and all these, Your Mom's House, all these podcasts, like really popular podcasts. I'm like, man, what is, because I want to do this, weekly if I can, because it's not too hard to edit, it's not too hard to publish, it's not too hard to film. So
it's a very cool format as well, because you can really dive deep into a topic, and I think I also watch a lot of or listen to a lot of podcasts. I like to kind of just listen to two people having a conversation, because I think sometimes you get a lot more out of it than watching those highly edited videos. Yeah. So it comes across as a lot more authentic, and you really get to know the people better. So I think it's cool. It's a cool thing that those podcasts are really picking up.